So I've come for a cycle in Nondindang and I've headed outside the town itself, and I've come across a reservoir, and look what I found. Now this looks remarkably like what they're building in our village, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. So the renovation they're doing to the dam near to Nongbon, just down the hill from where we live, you will have just seen the steel work and the concrete that they're going to be putting in. And the reason I think it's going to be exactly the same as this is because of the shape. Now this overflow is something I've not seen before, but what I do notice about this one is that it's the walls are not parallel. So the middle bit that's filled with water here, it's narrower where I'm standing as opposed to the other end, and that's exactly what I was seeing with the steels being laid out in the formwork, and I wondered why it was at a funny angle, and now I'm sure that this is what we're going to end up with once our dam is finished. So we have a flood in the village. It hasn't rained here for months. As you can see, it's quite deep just here and the water's running away constantly. Let's find out why. So what we've got here, we've got 3 backhoes which are positioned next to the reservoir. The one, the upper reservoir in the village, the one that's already been renovated. So let's explore a bit further. So we're driving over the reservoir at the moment. So what we've got is we have got the reservoir being emptied apparently. This is the escape channel, but in the process of the water escaping, it's flooded that part of the village that we've just been through. So I'm not quite sure if this is really emptying at a great speed now. It looks like it has done. As you can see, there's water residue down there, but it also looks like they've blocked off the end. I expect what's happened is that they've had such an amount of flooding that they've actually had to block the flow off, because the people in their houses are going to go under. So apparently what's going to happen here is that this is going to be emptied over the next few days in some manner, and they are then going to get those 3 backhoes in to dig it out, because it has silted up a lot. As you can see, the side of the dam there is actually not very deep at all before soil appears as the bottom of the reservoir. So having tidied up the dam, as it were, and built this, what I'm standing on, this new drainage channel, the overflow channel, they're going to dig this lake out to give it far more capacity. So that means the village will actually be without water during the hot season, because once this is emptied so they can dig it out, there is going to be no rain until probably August, and it's January now. No significant rain until August to replenish it, and this is where we get all our water from for our showers and our general sort of water supply for washing clothes and everything. So this is the next day now, and I've come back to see what's going on, and these three operators have just had a discussion, and two of them are now starting to dig, and the third one is heading somewhere else. Sure what their plan ultimately is here, but it seems like this raised part of ground is going to be dug out first. Obviously I'm going to hang around and check progress over the next few days, but I'd hazard a guess that what they've got to do is they've got to make some sort of decent access road for lorries, because I'm presuming that if they're going to dig all this stuff out, they're going to have to transport it away somewhere, even if it's just to the edge of the dam somewhere else, around the edges, you know. You can't just pick up one bucket and travel across to do that, so I think I better move in a moment. Is he going to unblock the dam again, I wonder, to let the water level down? So I'm thinking that this has been designed so the water comes out of those 3 pipes and the level rises and then it spills over that wall there, so that the flow is relatively gentle, so it doesn't basically come rushing out of those pipes at huge speed and create problems. Well, I must be wrong because there is evidence of a flow just there. So the water is definitely flowing now. Which means that those properties on the main road will be subject to water again after a short time, I would imagine. I don't know if they're free of water at the moment. I haven't been down that far. I want to go and have a look at the other dam which they're doing some major construction on, to see what progress there is there. But if the road's flooded I won't be able to get past because I'm on my bike and that flood was quite deep. Sorry about the wind noise, but it's very, very windy and quite chilly here at the moment. Now these 2 guys haven't spent very long at all doing whatever they were doing. He seems to be in the process of knocking a tree down. Well, I guess if they're going to dig all this out to another metre or 2, then these trees have got to go. It just shows how long the dam has been silting up, I suppose, and you've got large trees like that growing in the middle of it. Look out. This feather's finished, he's coming back. Nice friendly driver, leant out the window to say hello to me. I noticed that there are some marker poles. There's one just by where he's working, just in front of his bucket. It's a wooden or a metal, more likely, spike with some tape tied to it. I don't know if you can see that on the video. And there seem to be some other marker poles. Basically, there's one somewhere around there, and then there's another one there somewhere. They're very small. I can barely see them, so I don't suppose you can. But I'm wondering if they're marking out the areas that are going to be dug. Or possibly they're marking where the pipes are buried that go to that water tower, so that they don't dig down there and damage the pipe. So now I've come to the lower dam to see what progress there is there. Well, the pile of big stones is still the same, but there's been a lot of gravel added. Huge piles of gravel, which suggests a lot of concrete is going to be mixed, I think. So let's go and see what progress has been made. Well, they made some progress here. Look, they've got some concrete made up already. And I'm pretty certain that's the same shape as the completed one that I spotted the other day in Nondindang, which you saw earlier in the video. Let's walk around and see if we can see the angles. So there's a really thick concrete base now. I would say that's got to be 45 centimetres deep. And they're extending the ironwork now. I'm sure in my last video it was only built up to the edge of where they've concreted so far. Yes, well, those walls are parallel to each other, and those walls are parallel to each other, but they narrow. From where I'm standing it's wide, and they narrow the further along you get. And it looks like there's a slot being built in there, which presumably is for a door, a gate of some sort, to slide up and down. And you can see the steel sticking out of the concrete floor, steel sticking out there. Presumably that's to build at least halfway up, to build a retaining wall. Yeah, it's looking very impressive, I have to say. Good. Good. Right, I'll give it another few days and come back and see what's what then.